everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a pretty quick review on the Derwent Artist Black and White collection of pencils. This comes in a tin. You get 6 pencils. You also get a sharpener that was halfway decent, I suppose. I threw it in my travel art bag, but it does come with that. These Derwent pencil tins, the smaller ones, are pretty decent quality, and I like to keep them and reuse them for things, even watercolor when you take the tray out. But anyway, you get 6 pencils, you get 3 black and 3 white. These colors are not, this is not a brand new pencil to Derwent's line. They plucked these pencils out of the Derwent Artist collection. So they have a full range of Derwent Artist pencils, but they took these 3 from that existing line and they put them in this configuration in the tin. So you get, and let me try and move this down a little bit more. There we go. You get 3 white and 3 black. So you're getting 3 tints of white and 3 shades of black. And they're saying the claims here are Derwent Artist Black and White Colored Pencil Collection, a unique set of 6 warm and cool tones in our finest artist quality pencils. With a wide core of highly pigmented pure color for intense saturation, making them ideal for bold contrasting work, portraiture, and detailed illustration. Now the price I paid here at Hobby Lobby, the sticker price was $14.99, but I think I used a 40% off coupon on this when I purchased these a couple years back. I've had them for a while. I've given them a really fair shot. And they say they're finest quality artist pencils. They come from the artist range, so it's kind of true, but are they the finest artist quality? No. They're definitely not the finest quality that Derwent offers. I would beg to argue that would be the Derwent Artist pencils. We're going to compare a little bit today in this video because 4 of the colors from the Derwent Artist line that are in this tin made a reappearance in the Derwent Lightfast collection many years later when they came out with these. But of course for the Derwent Lightfast range, like many of their ranges, they'll pull colors from their existing color lines to duplicate in new sets, which just quickly made some people believe that the Derwent drawing pencils were the same as the Derwent Lightfast pencils because they duplicated some of the colors from this line, but they're not. I'm going to say that flat off the bat. I want to make sure people know that because there was a lot of people going around saying that the Lightfast pencils were the same as the Derwent drawing. I really disagree with that. These are a lot softer and creamier. They're almost like drawing with an oil pastel. Almost. I mean, they're very soft, and these are not nearly that soft. These are a slightly harder pencil, so they're a different formula. That's not what you came for, but I'm putting it out there. So which colors came back? The Midnight, the Forest, so these 2 blacks, and the Oyster and the Arctic. These 2 whites ended up coming back, and I've swatched them over here for comparison purposes. So when I was swatching out my Derwent Lightfast, I was already familiar with some of these colors, and I was like, yay, they brought them back, because I actually do like having different versions of black and white. I think that's a great idea, and that's why I gravitated toward this set, because especially if you're doing reflections in glass or an animal's eye, for example, depending on the light source, the highlights could be cooler or warmer, and same thing with your blacks, your darks. So I thought that was a fantastic idea. So these pencils, nowhere on the box does it say if they're oil base or wax base. I would tend to think they're an oil base. I tried to find that information, and I will leave it on the screen if I can find it on Derwent's Britain website, because I couldn't find it on the websites I was looking on today, but I'll try and find that information. But I would guess they're an oil base because they are so hard. They are really, really hard pencils, and the whites are very transparent. Now, it almost seemed to me like the whites and the blacks were different formulas in that here I swatched these also on white paper. I could move the blacks. They're a little softer. I could move them with my stump dry. I could smudge them, but the whites don't move at all. And I mean, it doesn't matter what paper you're using. If you want to just, you can see I smudged them dry. If I take this white down here, quite hard, by the way, and I try and smudge it, I need a clean little stump for that. Oh, goodness. Well, let's hope this is, no, it's got some orange on it, but you can see it doesn't move at all. It does not move at all, as where this moves. This really moves. So I'm not sure why that would be, but the whites don't move at all. And this is a great time to show you how transparent these whites are. If I put it over the ink line, you know, you could definitely still see my ink line through it. So the whites are very, very transparent, which is pretty consistent with the illustration on the box. You can see that, you know, the highlights in this drawing, which is a beautiful job, but I have my doubts whether or not this was done just with what's in this box or this tin. There's no bold, sparkly white highlights. There's no sparkly highlights on the earrings or bright, bold, punchy whites on the illustration anywhere. And that's just because I don't think this can be achieved with these pencils. So if I come in, light pressure, this is just a normal pressure I'd apply with a pencil. Nearly nothing is happening. Okay? These are that hard. I want to make that very clear. If I come in with harder pressure and I'm really pushing, I'm white knuckling it now, I can get something to happen. But these pencils hurt to use. I'm just going to be honest. They're hurting my hands, they're hurting my shoulder. They're so white, they're so hard, excuse me. I really have to push. So the blacks are a little softer though, so I'm just putting that out there. Now when they came out with the Derwent Lightfast range and I saw these pencils duplicate, hopefully you'll be able to tell on camera, look how much brighter in the Lightfast formula that these are. They're a lot more opaque. If I take Arctic and I put it over here next to this Arctic, I really pushed hard for that. These are still a harder pencil, but they're certainly softer than the Artist range. And look how much brighter and punchy that is. But these are still not the brightest white you can get. But if you look, you can see comparatively on the white, you know, these have more color. They're more punchy, the Lightfast compared to these Artist pencils. So I wanted to make that clear. They mix really well with solvent, or they blend or dissolve pretty well with solvent. Here I used a lot. I could really get a wash almost out of that Midnight. I mean, it really does move very well with solvent. The problem is, there's so much filler, I think, in these because they're so hard that they don't blend nice. I realize I'm trying to blend a black into a white, which typically you wouldn't do. Here I blended with solvent, but you can see how streaky that is. And I think part of that is the fact that typically you wouldn't blend white directly into black. You'd have some mid-tone in there, but also just these not these Lightfast pencils. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be gesturing with those. With these Artist pencils, they're so hard that they tend to not release very much color. So here I have Raven. You can see light pressure. You know, that's still really, really light. You know, so you're going to have to mix and blend and build quite a bit is, I guess, what I'm saying, but they don't seem to mix very well, at least with each other. In my opinion, I even used powder blender. I still got a pretty streaky look on both papers. Now, there's no point. You can't really see the difference in undertone too much on the toned gray paper until you start blending them with the white a little bit, which they don't seem to blend nicely into each other. But there's no point in really using them on white paper because half the set is white. So you're going to want to use them on a toned surface, especially because you have your darkest value in this set, you have your lightest value, and then your mid-tone, your paper becomes your mid-tone. And that's what they did with the illustration. So I don't know. I guess what I'm saying overall is that I'm disappointed with these pencils and I don't recommend them. It's probably the one Derwent product that I don't recommend, but maybe I just don't get it. I mean, it's possible maybe I just don't get it. I will likely see, you can get nice details though. See the nice lines you can get, nice fine lines. You can sharpen them to a nice sharp point, and they aren't going to break because they are so hard. So for details in a drawing, I think they'll work fine. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to take these out of my tin and just put them in my pencil caddy and use them to replenish blacks and whites in like my polychromos set. For example, I think they mesh really well with those. Even with my Derwent Lightfast, I'm just going to do that because, you know, for tiny details on top of something I've already done, to get those little details in the eye or something, for example. Yeah, but they're still not super punchy. But that's how I'll use these up, but I definitely wouldn't repurchase them. I guess they're just not my pencil. But I kind of feel like if you want just a good black or a good white pencil, I'd steer you away from these. I'd probably say the best white that I have, for the most opaque punchy white, I'd say go with the Derwent Drawing in Chinese white. Here's that one. So soft, so opaque. You know, it's soft, so it's not going to hold a fine line the same. But it is, I mean, comparatively to this little transparent white that we get in this set, look how much bolder and punchy that is. So for the best white, I'd go with Derwent Drawing. For the best black, for fine details, I'd honestly steer you toward the Polychromos black. I think that's the richest, darkest, hard black that I have. But I'm just going to throw these in with what I already have and use them up that way, but I will not repurchase these. I don't recommend them, especially if you have hand strength issues or pain issues, arthritis. I don't know. They all are Lightfast, so that's good. That's a pro. I've got a pro there, and I like the different shades here, but I think this is a great idea, but it just wasn't executed well. I wish they'd grabbed colors from a different line, maybe. Okay, I just wanted to insert a little bonus footage here. I wanted to add one thing. So the Derwent, I wanted to add two things. The Derwent Artist pencils that come in this tin, within this collection, they are Lightfast. But they pulled these pencils from the full artist range that might have 72 colors or something like that. Not every pencil in the artist range is Lightfast. The ones in this tin are, but there are many fugitive colors within that range. So I just wanted to make that clarification. But I have some thoughts here that occur to me. Wouldn't it have made more sense, and this is I think what I'm most disappointed with, is also, wouldn't it have made more sense if the point of this is for tonal studies? I think essentially we're doing quick tonal studies with this. Instead of giving us a hard color pencil formula, wouldn't it have made more sense to do like tinted charcoal or pastel pencils? Now they do have a tinted charcoal collection that I've already done a review on the channel, so I'll leave that linked up if you guys are interested. And you do get different shades of black, but there's not varying shades of tints like the white, unfortunately. So you'll find colors within the collection of tinted charcoal, a bluish black, a green tinted black, and a neutral, but there's only one white. You wouldn't get the cool and the warm, like pinky white and the slight blue tinted white. But I just feel like, wouldn't that have made more sense? You know, I think that format of a smudgy kind of pencil would have made more sense, because you could, this is the more blue kind of black that I have from the tinted charcoal range. It's called Elderberry. I'm not being super careful with even the direction of my strokes here because it doesn't even matter, because I can just blend all this out. I've got a slight blue tinted white here. This is called Powder Blue from the Derwent pastel pencil collection. You can use pastel and charcoal all interchangeably. But then I could just smudge and blend, real quick tonal studies, not worrying too much about anything, because I've got my toned sketch paper, and that's my mid-tones. So now I've got my different blacks and whites there, and I can just get a real quick little tonal study. So, I mean, that's kind of the point of having this collection, right? You have 6 cool and warm tones, but you're really getting, you know, your darkest value and your lightest value just in different flavors, I suppose. But wouldn't that have made more sense to give us more of a quick sketchy medium? Because I mean, the drawing on the box is beautiful, but I don't think many people are going to buy these with the intention of spending a lot of time. I mean, it really seems like more geared toward quick tonal studies. So why wouldn't you have given us something that was quick and smudgy, you know, versus giving us something that now requires solvent, and they don't blend well with solvent anyway. No, they blend well with solvent, but they don't blend well together, is what I found. Like when I went to blend the white and the black together, I found that I kept getting that streakiness. And even when I blended with Powder Blender, which they worked okay with Powder Blender because I think they're an oil base, but I kept getting that streakiness over and over again because, number one, they're a harder pencil, but they just don't seem to build well on top of each other. You know how Polychromos is a harder pencil, but they layer up well. They layer up and blend well together. These artist pencils really don't, at least in my experience. Now again, I'll use them for small details in drawings that I already have, and I'll use them up that way to replenish blacks and whites in other collections that I have. But I don't think they're a standalone set. I don't think that altogether the 6 pencils you get in this set, 3 black and 3 white, especially considering that they don't blend very well together, they don't want to merge well together, that this is a standalone set. Like you could add this on to something else and yeah, I think you'd be happy with it, but it's not going to have, it's not inclusive enough to have everything you would need to create a whole cohesive body of work. I just don't find that that's possible for me. And for how I like to work. Now again, the drawing on the box here is beautiful. I just don't see how they achieved that with just what's in this box. Look how smooth that portrait is. And, you know, it's like a smooth gray. There's such smooth blends here. I don't know. Please, if you know how to use these to get that effect, let me know. But that looks like charcoal or pastel that they laid down to get that smooth tone, and then maybe came in with these pencils for details on top. But I just don't see how with just what's in this tin that you could get this effect. And maybe I'm wrong. I invite conversation. You know, if you have tips on how to use these, if you like these, if you love these, please let me know. I'd love to know. And I thought this idea was a good idea in theory. Having the pure white, a warmer kind of pinky white, a cooler kind of blue white. You know, a lot of the time light is reflective of different undertones. I liked the idea. I just didn't, for me personally, and I could be me, but I just feel like it's limiting and it just wasn't executed well. I would like to see this idea come back, but instead replace the hard pencils with some other formula. Even if they're going to stick with color pencil, I'd like to see them replace this with the lightfast range. And then I'd like to see this idea come back with charcoals, tinted charcoals. Give us the exact same color range, but with tinted charcoals, because for how I would plan to use this for quick sketches and tonal studies, I think charcoal would have been a better execution of this idea. So I wanted to include that in the video. But that's my review for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video or at least found it helpful. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of these pencils. If you have this set, how do you use it? Do you like it? It's okay to disagree with me. I invite conversation. Just be respectful, please. And as always, have a great day, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!